Hi, I'm Andrew Watson from Creative Guitar Studio, and it is November 5th, 2009. Today what we're going to do is just sift through some of my older emails that I have kicking around from back at the end of September and the beginning of October. So I'm going to start with an email that looks like I didn't ever get a chance to reply to Kevin. He wrote in, he was asking questions about, could you talk about the type and size of amplification that's right for different kinds of gigs and groups. Also give me a long-term strategy for buying gear so I can buy quality and multitask out some pieces of equipment instead of buying the same amp 3 times as I'm coming up and paying my dues. Well, that's a very good question, because I think it's important to invest in quality gear, but don't go overboard. You know, if you know that you can get a really good amp for about $600 or $700, but there, of course, are amplifiers on the market that are going to be, you know, $1,500 and $2,000. You got to look at sort of the price, you know, and the budget that you're willing to spend. I am a purchaser of equipment where I look at it like, you know, if I can get 5 years out of an amp, that's pretty decent. So if it costs me $100 a year and I buy a $500–600 amplifier, then I feel that that's pretty decent, because I do not repair amplifiers. I gave up doing that years ago. It just winds up costing more money. Like, you know, I think to myself, why am I going to spend $200 on a repair job, which is a real 50-50 chance kind of thing anyway, if the amp's going to ever run right after that anyway. I always found, see, one of my premise for doing this actually was, I found that when I was getting amps fixed, you know, I'd spend $80, let's say, on a quick repair that seemed like, you know, oh, this is great, it's a simple thing, we'll fix that. I get the amp back, you know, and then 3–4 weeks down the road, something else seems to blow on it, or maybe the problem comes back, so maybe the guy fixing it never really found the issue anyway. And electronics can be really funny. So with amps especially, I buy sort of the intermediate, you know, amp that's got the power and that's got the features that I want. And if I have to spend $600–700 on that amp, let's say, and it does indeed last me 5 or 6 years trouble-free, and then it dies, then I'm happy. I'll just toss it, you know, and basically buy a new amp and start fresh again. So, you know, I know that's kind of a different approach. It might not be the ideal approach for most people, but I just stop repairing gear. I just find that it just never seems to be repaired properly. So, so size and types. Okay, I would go like your basic club gig kind of thing, and even somewhat suitable for outdoor playing. I would probably go with either a single 12-inch speaker or a dual 12-inch speaker amp that's pushing a good 80 to, let's say, 110–120 watts of power. For quite a few years now, I've been using the PV Bandits. It has one 12-inch speaker. It says it pushes 80 watts. I think it might be kind of underrated, but I've really been happy with that. So anyway, hopefully that helps you out. Let's just go to another question here now. This is from Lori. Lori wrote in and says, do your books cover all the scales, octave templates, fretboard learning techniques, and all the stuff you talk about in your videos? I've got this whole idea of going on the internet is kind of new around here. We really made the big decision to push everything online over the last 6 to 8 months or so. So a lot of the core curriculum in the studio is not digital, and we're going towards the direction of making everything digital to go up online. So in the future, all of our curriculum will be up there. Right now we've just got some of our books, and we're starting to slowly get more and more of the material up onto the internet. So at around mid-December, we're going to be launching our new website. There'll be a shopping cart system and a whole payment and purchase system rigged up right through PayPal. So that should be able to help you out. Eventually, though, our goal is to have everything digital online, so that you can just do your payment and, you know, make the payments cheap and inexpensive, and you can get your product right away as a digital download. So all that stuff is in the works. Next question here is from Tom. I'm having trouble fitting melodic phrases and ideas into the groove of a song. If I were to play over a simple progression in A minor and stay inside basic A minor scale, I always find myself playing on the downbeats a lot and sounding really predictable, basic, and boring. So, yeah, he just goes on to say he likes Eddie Van Halen's solo in the song Beat It, because it's kind of unpredictable. It has notes that are out of place and random sounding, but yet it sounds really great. So what you're talking about is the idea of playing around the beat, being somewhat syncopated, and that kind of thing. To me, there's several factors there. One, I still think it's a really good idea for everybody to learn how to read music. There's massive benefits that comes out of it. Number two, I think it's massively important to learn other people's guitar solos and other people's lines. You know, go learn a bunch of solos, classics from Pink Floyd, go learn some Guns N' Roses, go learn some Van Halen solos. You know, it's all going to basically give you a deposit of information that you're later going to be able to take to your guitar and go and create your own style out of, but yet it's going to teach you about all kinds of things like syncopation, playing in and around the beat, playing notes that, you know, don't fit what they could, but they can roll into other pitches, and then including other kinds of scale tones around the notes that you're playing. So hopefully that answers your question. But it is a lot of study, of course, and a lot of examining of other people's parts. I just opened an email, and I'm going to just bring up a point for anybody trying to contact me about stuff. This email that was sent in is massive. It's just like, you know, it must be, you know, 500-600 words. A lot of times when I see an email like that, I basically don't even read it. It's just so overwhelming, and sometimes reading it, the sentences just seem to blur together. Especially that one there was one of those emails that I get where someone didn't even put capitals at the beginning of each sentence, so it's just like a blur reading those. I tend to skip over them, so don't send emails like that in, because the shorter and more concise, the better. And read one more email here from Jim. He wrote in, Jim Thomas wrote in, what's a good electric guitar to get for your money, and what criteria should you look at when buying nylon string guitars? Right now, I mean, this changes over the years, you know, as time goes on, but right now I like ESPs. They have an LTD series. I think that's an excellent electric guitar and bass in the beginner sort of level and even intermediate level. Great guitars for the money. I just, you know, don't think you can buy a guitar at that price range that's in that kind of quality level. And the other thing was buying a nylon string guitar. For the nylon strings for years and years, and even for steel string acoustics for years, I've always really been heavy into the Yamahas. Excellent quality control from the factories, excellent customer service, guarantees, and great construction. You know, of course, when you're paying $200 or $300 for a guitar, you're not going to have some kind of incredible sound. Let's face it, you know, to get an unbelievable sounding guitar, you got to spend a couple of $1,000s, and that's just all there is to it for a nice custom handmade guitar. You know, you look at some of the Morgan guitars, or maybe the Laraves, or I have a Ramondo that I use. I mean, they just sound so incredible when you compare them to, you know, the $400 or $500 guitars. You put that couple of $1,000 guitar up against it, and there's just, you know, no comparison. Okay, so that's about it. I got some phones ringing here, so I better get back to work. Thanks very much for tuning in again, and we'll just see you on the next video. Bye for now.